Hello there.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's Ellie Moses. I'm a 21-year-old law and film student here in Sydney, Australia, making my way in the YouTube universe with my fellow chat pirates, my fellow pirate subscribers, and hopefully I can gain some new pirates to join the crew as we make our way through the YouTube galaxy. Yes, I have just seen Mortal Kombat. I came out of a screening today in Australia, and fitting because Kano in the film is Australian, and yeah, I'm just gonna give my quick thoughts on the film, just my review. It's gonna be spoilers. I'm gonna sprinkle spoilers here and there. I'm not gonna go beat for beat of the story, the whole entire story. Just gonna provide detailed spoilers from what I remember of the film and basically the key elements of the film. So that's all I'm going to do, and then I'll give a ranking for my film. And my ranking system is unique. I try and make it different. It's not a rating system out of 10 or a grade. It's based off Star Wars, so at the top of the list is Grandmaster, then it goes Jedi Master, then it goes Jedi Knight, then it goes Padawan, then it goes Youngling, and then it goes Trash Compactor, and then we've added a new one to the list called Geode, the Rock from the New High Republic. But yeah, that's my ranking system. Hopefully you guys enjoy it, hopefully you think it's cool, and then I'll give a ranking at the end of the video. Just going into this, I am not overly fond of Mortal Kombat, like in terms of like I haven't played the games like religiously. The only Mortal Kombat game I have played is Mortal Kombat X when that came out a few years ago, and because I was too young to get the game, I watched ample amounts of footage and gameplay on YouTube of Mortal Kombat X. So that's sort of how I became familiar with Mortal Kombat, because that game was just so hyped up when it came out. So that game got me familiar, like sort of I understand the characters, a bit of the world, but I'm not going to say I am a diehard Mortal Kombat fan. So this is coming from sort of a neutral perspective who has a okay understanding of the Mortal Kombat world and how it works, but I'm not going to say I'm diehard. I'm going to be completely honest in this review. But starting right off the bat, does this film has a post-credit scene? Just off the bat, just to notify you guys, no, the film does not have a mid-credit scene or post-credit scene. Does it set up a sequel? Yes, I will talk about that at the end of the film. It definitely sets up a sequel, like 100%, and I think Mortal Kombat fans will be pleased with the direction the sequel is going in, and it does bring back a familiar character. You guys probably know who that is. But starting off, guys, I'm gonna give my quick thoughts straight away. I was kind of disappointed in Mortal Kombat. Unfortunately, I had such high expectations for the fight choreography in this film. I mean, there was an article that came out like a couple weeks ago, like a month ago, talking about how they had 300 beats in just one fight scene, and I was looking forward to sort of the Raid, both 1 and 2 fight action sequences. I mean, it's Mortal Kombat. I was looking to some fantastic wide take sequences, just leaving the camera stand still, or like some fantastic maneuvering with the camera, and just let the actors do their thing, because the actors did do their own stunts with this film, and I commend them for that. However, does it really showcase their own stunts to its maximum potential, to its optimum potential? No, I did find the fight scenes to be a bit lackluster. It was pretty generic. There was like lots of cutaways. There wasn't like quick cuts and like shaky cam, but they did tend to have like a lot of cutaways, but you did understand what was happening in the fight sequences. So I can like say they were okay, they were fine. It wasn't as groundbreaking as I thought it was going to be, the fight sequences. Even, I guess the best fight in the film is the third act fight between Scorpion and Bihan, or Sub-Zero. That was the best fight. I think that's between them. Hiroyuki Sanada, hopefully I said that right, Sanada and Joe Taslim provide the best fight scene in terms of choreography in the third act within the MMA gym, and sort of the glaciers and all the ice frozen. That is the best fight within the film. And then you have how Scorpion comes in to the fray in the third act. He's basically at the beginning of the film, it opens up with the sequence. We have Hiroyuki as Hanzo. Hanzo, I forgot his last name, but as Hanzo, and basically he's in the garden with his family, and then he goes away to go get some buckets of water, and then that's where Sub-Zero appears and basically kills his family. However, just before Sub-Zero can come into the fray, his wife hides his daughter underneath sort of their cabin, and he comes in. Pretty cool badass sequence using the gardening spear and the knife, some brutal kills, some brutal knives through the head. A fantastic scene, like a fantastic sequence basically. Some real great fight choreography there with Hiroyuki Sanada. I'm gonna keep butchering that name, but I'm just gonna call him Mr. Sanada. Yeah. But great scene, great production design in the woods, fantastic location use there as well. And then basically at the start of the film, Scorpion dies when he confronts Sub-Zero, or Bihan as he is at the start of the film. Bihan does get the better of Scorpion and he kills Hanzo. He kills him. Scorpion does die at the beginning of the film, and then he sort of vaporizes away, and it gets explained later in the film. He vaporizes away. He sort of had like the fire effect, and he vaporizes away, and he goes, as is explained later in the film, he goes into the Nether Realm, and he's trapped within the Nether Realm. And then basically Raiden comes in, he teleports in and saves his daughter from beneath the cabin, I guess, like sort of like a basement area. He saves his daughter, and that's how we get the bloodline of the Hanzo bloodline to continue. And that's how we get the introduction to Cole, where Cole is sort of like a washed up MMA fighter. He used to be good. I mean, he's started a family now. He has a daughter and a wife. A girlfriend, I believe. Like, it's sort of like the way they pointed out, he's just like married into this, and he's just got his own daughter. But we start off with Cole, and then he's got this mark, and then Jax comes to him. He's like, "Oh, I'll see you around." And then they're basically chilling at a diner, sort of having ice cream and all that. And then Sub-Zero comes into the frame, because basically Sub-Zero is hunting all the champions. And then at the beginning of the film, you have a little bit of text where it's just like there's a war going on between the Earth Realm and the Outrealm, the Outworld or Otherworld. There's a war going on, and basically there's a tournament, and basically the Outrealm or the Otherworld, I can't remember. I seriously cannot remember. I'm sorry, but they've won basically 9 out of the last 10 tournaments. And basically, if they win the final tournament, I think they take over the Earth Realm. And basically, Raiden's task is basically to gather all the Earth Realm defenders, I guess. But that doesn't come into the fray to, I guess, the middle-ish of the film, because at the beginning, Jax is recruiting Cole, and Jax finds Cole, and he rescues Cole from Sub-Zero's attack on the diner. And that's where we have the sequence with the gun. Where Jax tells Cole to go find Sonya Blade, and then Cole goes to find Sonya Blade, and Jax takes on Sub-Zero on his own, and obviously Sub-Zero gets the best of him. We've seen the scene in the first trailer where he shoots the shotgun. Fantastic practical effects there with the bullet spread or the bullet pellets of the shotgun. And then basically Sub-Zero gets the better of him, freezes his arms, and yeah, takes out Jax, and we think Jax is dead from there. But if you've seen the trailers, you know Jax returns with his big ass metal arms. But the best part of the film comes in here where Sonya Blade is basically in sort of like a hideout, or sort of basically chilling out in a hideout on sort of like a, how do I explain, like a boat deck, or sort of on the a cargo bay on the sea. I don't know, just hasn't got to my mind quickly, but she's basically chilling there, and she's got Kano already trapped there. And the whole arc with Sonya, like it goes throughout the film, is that she is not a chosen one, she is not marked, and there's a bit of unexplaining with Sonya. Like Cole basically goes into the basement, and basically there's a massive, like a little bit of exposition where Sonya has gathered completely all this research on this Mortal Kombat tournament over time. I don't know how she's got that. Like there's like some significant stuff, but there's basically exposition for us as the audience as well, and for Cole. And she's got Kano trapped. Now Kano is the best bit of the film, and I'm rambling on. I'm not going to go beat for beat of the film anymore, but yeah, Kano is the best bit of this film. I mean, he had the theater cracking up multiple times. His line delivery is fantastic. His one-liners are superb. His comedic timing is superb. I think it helped because he's Australian, and in Australia as well, it's just like the whole theater was cracking up at some of his lines. There was one point where it was with Liu Kang, and he's got sort of this like rivalry with Liu Kang. He keeps talking shit to him and Kung Lao throughout the film, and they're sitting at a dinner table, and Kung Lao is trying to get Kano's Arcana to come out, because they go into Raiden's temple. So they basically trying to find Raiden's temple, and then they basically travel there, and then Liu Kang finds them and takes them to Raiden's temple, because Liu Kang is recruiting the final, I guess, warriors for the Earth Realm to battle against the villain. I can't remember the villain. He's completely forgettable. I think it's Shung Tsang completely forgettable in this film. Yeah, they go to Raiden's temple, which is some fantastic production design as well with Raiden's temple. Some cool mosaics, like handmade mosaics, real great prosthetics, and I guess fantastic use of production design. Like set design and set building was great for Raiden's temple. I can commend them for that. It's really good. And then yeah, they had that one sequence where they're trying to get the arcanas out of the basically arcana is basically your power. They're trying to channel it out of the chosen, like the marked people. And Cole and Kano trying to get theirs, and at the table, like they failed numerous times. And this is where the film hits a bit of a lull during the middle period, where there's little to no action or fatalities. It's just them training, trying to basically get their powers. And Cole fails, so Cole goes away. But there's this one scene where they're sitting at a dinner table, and Kung Lao is stirring up Kano, and he stirs him up to the point where he finally gets his laser beam eye, and then he says to Liu Kang, he's like, "Oh, a laser beam." He's like, "Better than a fireball, you fucking pussy." And I couldn't stop laughing. The whole theater cracked up, and they were clapping. It was like, the line delivery was fantastic. In his own way, he's like, pardon me for swearing, I don't like swearing, but he's like, "Better than a fireball, you fucking pussy." And I couldn't stop laughing. It was this really great line delivery. But then, this is where the film, and I think will divide a lot of Mortal Kombat fans, because I do not think a lot of justice is done to, in particular, to, like, if your favorite character is Mylena, for instance, and you're really keen to see Mylena in the film, I think you'll be really let down, because basically, after this period, Cole goes away because he can't channel his inner Arcana, and then Shung Tsang recruits more people to the Earth Realm. I think one of them is Carbo, I think his name is. And then this is the point where basically Raiden's got sort of a force field around his temple, so Shung Tsang cannot get in. And then they recruit Kano, so Kano betrays, because Kano's basically a selfish character in this film. He's basically to himself. He doesn't have any allegiance, but then he changes sides, and then what happens is Cole goes away and he gets attacked by the big four-limbed monster in the trailer, if you've seen that. The Hulk-like monster. He's one of Shao Kahn's descendants. I think I forgot his name. I forgot the villain's name in the film. I completely forgot it. I'm trying to remember it. I think it's Shang Tsung. I think Shang Tsung from memory. But like, I cannot remember the name. Like, a lot of the characters are forgettable in this film. Like, there's not going to be character development to the extreme in a Mortal Kombat film. There's ample characters to deal with, and there's just characters thrown on screen. But I guess Mortal Kombat fans will know of those characters and the backstory behind them. So it's a film for the Mortal Kombat fans. It's not a film for the neutral. However, I was disappointed in terms of the fight choreography, and that's why I expected more. And I think Mortal Kombat fans will be let down, in my opinion, in terms of the third act, in terms of how the Mortal Kombat tournament comes to fruition, because it's not really a tournament in this film. The tournament, they talk about the tournament, but it never really comes to fruition because of Shung Tsang, and he basically interferes with that. He basically wants to take out all of Earth's champions to take out to take over the Earth realm, and that never comes to fray, because what happens is he attacks the temple once Kano betrays them. And there's a cool scene. The first fatality of the film happens, like the first proper fatality, goes to Kung Lao in this film, and it's absolutely fantastic. Gets his hat, puts it in the sand, it's in the sand, and it rotates, spins like sort of like a chainsaw, and he gets I forgot the character, but it's like this winged girl character, gets her and bang, cuts her in half, and it was a great fatality, best fatality in the film. And I was really let down by the fatalities in this film. Even though that one was super cool, there's only really about 3 or 4 proper fatalities in the entire film, and they do come in the third act, but they do come really quick. They come within the span of like 5 minutes. The fight sequences, there's really no payoff towards them. It's basically our characters go into the void, which is basically a realm between Earth and like between the real world. It's like Raiden's world, and basically the villain cannot touch them, so they form their plan there, and Raiden transports all the villains and the characters. They sort of go one-on-one between the characters they want to fight, I guess. And Jax takes on Raiko, I think, and basically because the characters sort of had that morale boost, it's basically them getting to round 2. There's no stakes in the fight, and they basically win in like 2 seconds. Jax destroys Raiko. He has the fatality, he smashes his head in. Yeah, there's no stakes, and the fights went they were over really quickly. Like Mylena gets taken out in 2 seconds. Mylena's fighting Cole, and Cole's costume is really, really poor in this film. Like it's really generic. It's basically like his gold-plated armor. There's nothing to it. But yeah, it's really, really quickly Mylena gets taken out. He's fighting Cole, and then because in that sequence, Sonya Blade takes on Kano at the dock, at the boating dock again, and she takes him on one-on-one, and she gets the better of him. And because those who kill, like for instance, if you're unmarked in Earth and you kill a marked person, you gain their mark. So Sonya gets Kano's mark, and that's sort of like her arc throughout the film, is that she has no mark, but she's gathering warriors as well, and she's done all this study on that because she's had an interaction with sort of Super in the past, and that's how Jax got his mark. He took out that person. But Sonya takes out Kano. She gets his mark. I was like, oh no, Kano died. He was the best bit of the film. I mean, going back to the start of the film, there was a bit as well where Sonya was talking to Cole, and she's like, oh, I don't have a mark, and Kano's just like in the background tied up, and he's like, wah, wah. And I was like, I couldn't stop laughing. But yeah, apart from that, I found the fights to be really poorly edited in this film. There's a few jump sequences where a lot of characters just teleport, and in particular the third act, right? In the third act, Cole basically has nothing to do. Like, his family is frozen within the MMA ring while Sub-Zero and Scorpion go at it, and they had nothing really to give him, so he's basically trying to chop down the ice of his frozen family. And then Sub-Zero and Scorpion get Scorpion blasts Sub-Zero into the ring, and then Cole was nowhere to be seen. I mean, like a moment ago, he was chopping down his family, but he's nowhere to be seen. I'm pretty sure there's like a 360 shot or like a wide take of the ring, and he was nowhere to be seen. And moments ago, he was only chopping. And then in the next cut, he's there standing with Scorpion, ready to fight. I was like, hang on, he just teleported there. But yeah, it was really poorly edited. There's some poor ADR in the Outer Realm, in particular, the scene with Kabar, where his voice changes. Is really poor ADR, and the editing of the fights, yeah, I was just really let down by it. Apart from the Scorpion Sub-Zero fight, I think both of them, the beginning and end, the fights are really poor and really cut short. Like, they could have done so much more. I mean, the film is about an hour 50, so give or take about an hour 43 because of the credits. There could have been easily another 10-15 minutes added on to this film dedicated to fight sequences and more choreographed fight sequences instead of cutting them short. I mean, I think the film's priority towards the end was just setting up the sequel, and then the villain comes in and he's like, basically all the bad guys besides Kung Lao. I think Kung Lao gets defeated by the hands of Shung Tsang. He gets his soul sucked out. And that's before Raiden teleports his characters ready for the third act. So Kung Lao gets taken out. But other than that, all of Shung Tsang's guys get taken out. The big Shou Kang descendant, he gets taken out at Cole's house. This is where before Cole gets back to the team. And that's where Cole channels his inner Okana in that moment. Yeah, Jax takes out Raiko really quick. Melina gets taken out by Sonya real quick with her plasma, I guess, wrist things. She gets taken out. There's a massive hole in her chest. Not really the best way. Like, I don't think this film justifies its R rating. I mean, in Australia, it's R18, and then we have MA15+. The Predator was MA15+, and I think that was just as gory as this film. Besides the Kung Lao fatality with the cutting of the chain, I didn't think it really justified its R rating. That was just me. I've seen more brutal films. The Raid is much more brutal, and with the actors the film had on display, I was really let down by the fight choreography. I mean, Joe Taslim, if you've seen Joe Taslim in the Raid and what he's capable of doing, I think he was really, really nerfed with Sub-Zero in terms of his fight capabilities, in terms of how it's filmed. It really didn't get to showcase his mixed martial arts abilities. Even the actor that plays Cole, he's actually decent. Like, the acting was fine throughout the majority of the film. As I said, Kano was pretty good. I think Jessica McName as Sonya, she was pretty decent. The acting is good. There's a few corny lines here and there. You can tell it's like Mortal Kombat like. It's just Mortal Kombat lines. It's like corny lines. But yeah, Hiroyuki Sanada was probably the best bit of the film. When he was on screen, he's not in it for much. He's there at the beginning and then comes into the end as Scorpion. His entry is badass. They never really explain how he comes out of the netherworld, because there's a few scenes throughout where if Cole gets a look at like a picture of Sonata, for instance, there was a picture of like an ancient painting of him, and then he gets flashbacks to him in the netherworld, and that's how he realizes it's descendant of him. And he comes in at the end in the Mortal Kombat music, like dun 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 dun. He's like, get over here. I was like, that was badass. But apart from that, like there was a few moments of like cool stuff in this film. However, there was just so much wasted potential I found in Mortal Kombat, and I've been speaking for 20 minutes, and hopefully you guys are still here. Let me know. Put 20, 30 in the comments if you guys are still here, just before I give my ranking. But yeah, there was so much wasted potential, and I think the color grading of the film as well, for a Mortal Kombat film, it was a really dull looking film. It wasn't as vibrant as I thought it was going to be. It was a really dull and lacking life. Like, it was really... The film was lacking that energy and that punch in the fight sequences. I really thought they could have done much more with it. And then also at the end, they win. Shung Tsang comes to them and he's like, I will gather next time an army. And he goes, death, like something, death is not the end. So he gathers the dead people, and you have shots of separate, like Sub-Zero, I'm guessing he's going to return, Raiko, like all his dead contestants, I guess. He gathers them, and then Raiden basically banishes him. And then Raiden's like, he will return, we need to gather more, look for more. And then, yeah, basically that's the team. I think it's Liu Kang, Cole, Sonya, and Jax. That's the remaining ones, and they got to gather more. Then we have that scene at the end. Cole's back in the MMA gym, and this guy from the beginning is like, oh, you're going to fight? There's a fight tomorrow. He's like, nah, man, I'm not fighting anymore. I'm fighting Days of Gun. He's like, oh, where are you off to? He's like, I'm off to Hollywood. And he goes, yeah, really? What's there? He goes, oh, can't remember what he replies, but then camera cuts to a poster on Hollywood, and it's like, it was a Johnny Cage poster, but it didn't show his face. It was just like the belt. It said Johnny Cage, and it was like Cage Films or something. So it is teasing Johnny Cage. Johnny Cage is in the film, I guess, not physically, but he's there. His presence there. We know that's who Cole's going to find, and it sets up the sequel. But yeah, that's what the film does set up. It does set up a sequel. Would I like to see a sequel? Yes, because even though I was really let down by this film, I really want to see a sequel, because I really think there's so much potential with the fight sequence. They can really top this film really easily. Like, I think this film was really subpar, and I think the standards are like not that high. I reckon they can really top it off with a sequel, like really top these standards in a sequel, like with the fight choreography, the fatalities. They can really top it off in this film. They can really smash it out of the park in a sequel, and it's a shame. It's a shame they didn't go balls to the wall with the first Mortal Kombat film, because if this film doesn't do well, then the sequel's not going to happen. But I really would like to see a sequel. I mean, Cole was a decent, I guess, protagonist. His family didn't need to be there. I would have liked to him focus on his struggle. It was just, yeah, he just had his family. There's something to care. I couldn't really care less. I can't really tell you their names, but like, yeah, couldn't really care less. And yeah, there's like, he's a teleportation in this film, like characters transport out of nowhere, they come out of nowhere. But that's why I think the film was really cut short, and it was really poorly edited. There's some great use of location in South Australia, with like the mines where they use Raiden's temple. There's some fantastic, in the Outworld as well, fantastic use of location. However, I think the film could have been longer and could have been fleshed out a bit of the characters a little bit more, and dedicated more time to the fights to make the fights longer, because as I said before, they're cut short, and the bad guys, or sort of the opposing sides, those with Shung Tsang, really don't stand a chance after our characters return from the void. It's just like they really don't put up much of a fight, and they get taken out really quickly, and the fatalities, there's not much of them there, and I didn't think the film justified its R rating. But yeah, that's been my review, guys, for Mortal Kombat. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed. If you guys have enjoyed it, please like, share, and subscribe. And for my ranking, guys, I'm going to give Mortal Kombat 2021 the rank of Padawan. Yes, guys, I was kind of let down by this film. There are moments, there are redeeming qualities of it. I had fun with it. However, I don't think I can elevate it to the level of Jedi Knight. I really think there's a lot of wasted potential in this film. But stay tuned, guys. If you're still here, I do a series called Cinema Showdown, where we pit two films against one another, and do live debates and polls. And this Sunday, so Saturday nights for you guys in the UK, and I think Saturday afternoon for you guys in the US, we're doing Mortal Kombat 1995 taking on Mortal Kombat 2021. But that's been my review on Mortal Kombat, guys. Hopefully you've enjoyed. I know it's a long one, but it's spoilers. But as I said, it's been your boy Ellie Moses. Take care, God bless, and peace.